Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in cause number 334060. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Cynthia Angelina Lofton. Ms. Lofton, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lofton, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Lofton, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
Ms. Lofton, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Lofton?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine as well. Thanks for asking. Ms. Lofton, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Brevin Jackson. Attorney Jackson, do you waive a record in Ms. Lofton's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lofton,
Yes, sir.
I have before me a document that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about December 24th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. Ms. Lofton, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Ms. Lofton, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty, sir.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir, I am.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lofton, I also have before me a document on this tablet that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. Ms. Lofton, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir, I do.
On page 2 of this same document, Ms. Lofton, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box that says check guilty. Ms. Lofton,
Yes, sir.
did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Ms. Lofton, is this your signature?
Yes, sir, it is.
On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, Ms. Lofton, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, sir, it is.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, Ms. Lofton, did you also sign a document on paper out there that is titled Discovery Certification? Did you also sign a document on paper out there that's titled Discovery Certification?
I'm not sure.
Let me grab it.
Hold on a minute.
Yes, sir, I did. I'm sorry.
Okay, now, Ms. Lofton, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Ms. Lofton, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I have just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir, I did.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir, they are.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor. State offer States 1.
Any objections, Mr. Jackson?
No, Your Honor.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 is admitted. Mr. Jackson, you've advised and counseled Ms. Lofton. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lofton, your attorney, Mr. Jackson, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir, I am.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir, he has.
Ms. Jackson, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt state. Do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 30 days, Your Honor. We're asking that the defendant receive credit for any and all time to which he's entitled by law.
Ms. Lofton, the state is offering that you serve 30 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. Now, the court cost in this case is $327. Ms. Lofton, will you be able to pay the $327 court cost?
No, sir.
Okay, Ms. Lofton, I have before me a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigence. And there is a signature on here that purports to be your signature. And it was dated February 4th of 2023. And the magistrate found that you were indigent. And based on that finding, you were appointed a court-appointed attorney to this court. Now, is everything on this document still true and correct today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so based on the findings in this document and based on your admissions, the court is going to find that you are indigent. And based on that finding of indigency, the court costs in this case of $327 will be waived. That just simply means that you will not be required to pay it. And that's going to be pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. Now, Ms. Lofton, do you understand the state's offer and the court's finding?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you think it's fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept it?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lofton, I'll, as stated earlier, the plea bargain agreement is found. You're sentenced to 30 days in Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you're entitled to get by law. And the court costs in this case of $327 will be waived pursuant to Article 42.15 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure because the court has found that you're indigent. Ms. Lofton, this will conclude your case. Please knock on that door and follow the bill.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chance Curl. Chance Curl.
All right.
Chance Curl. Jefferson County Court at Law is back in session. Court is in session in two cases. This case is cause number 333662, and the second case is cause number 334102. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Chance Adam Curl or Chance A. Curl. Mr. Curl, is that your full name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Curl, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Curl, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Curl, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Curl?
I'm fine this morning, thank you.
That's good. Now, Mr. Curl, in cause number 333662, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that on or about September 22nd of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespassing. Mr. Curl, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yeah.
And to this charge, Mr. Curl, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
No.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Curl, I have before me another document. This document is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. I'm gonna show it to you on the monitor. Mr. Curl, do you recognize this document?
Yeah.
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Curl, there are a set of initials CC that are on a line next to a box that says check guilty. Mr. Curl, did you place your initials on this document?
Yeah.
On page 3 of this same document, Mr. Curl, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Curl, is this your signature?
Yeah.
And on the next document, Mr. Curl, this document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Curl, do you recognize this document?
Yeah.
Is this your signature on the line that is titled defendant?
Yeah.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Curl, did you also sign a document out there on paper that is titled Discovery Certification? Okay, Mr. Jackson, could you show him the document, the Discovery Certification?
They didn't have no discovery on me over the case.
Oh, okay, Mr. Curl, just hold on a minute. Now, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Curl.
Oh, so you mean even though they don't got no evidence, they still call it discovery?
No, Mr. Curl, what I'm asking you is, did you sign that document?
Yeah, I did.
Now, Mr. Curl, before you sign and initialed all of those documents, did your attorney go over the documents with you?
Yeah, he went over the documents with me and everything.
And did you understand everything that he went over?
Yeah.
And is everything in these documents and those documents true and correct?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Best of your knowledge.
It
Now,
is, I guess.
Mr. Curl, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yeah.
Mr. Curl, well, Mr. Jackson. Well, let me do this here. Now, State, do you have a, I have before me State's Exhibits Number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor, State Office States 1.
Mr. Jackson, you have any objection?
No, Your Honor.
No objection, State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. And Mr. Jackson, you've advised and counseled Mr. Curl. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Curl, your attorney, Mr. Jackson, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jackson, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are admitted. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 90 days, Your Honor. We're asking that the defendant be given credit for any and all time to which he's entitled by law. Your Honor, in this case, lastly, is to run concurrent with companion case number 334102.
Okay, Mr. Curl, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will be given credit for any time that you are entitled to get by law. The court cost in this case is $387. Mr. Curl, will you be able to pay the $387 court cost?
When will it be required of me to pay?
Are you able to pay it today?
No.
Okay, now, Mr. Curl, I have before me a document that is titled Affidavit of Indigence. And And on this document, there's a signature that purports to be yours that was signed on February 8th of 2023. Also, has a signature of a magistrate who found that you were indigent and you met the eligibility requirements for the appointment of court-appointed attorney. And Mr. Curl, is everything in this document true and correct?
Yeah,
And it's still true and correct today, is that correct?
yeah,
Okay, Mr. Curl, based on the court is going to find that you are indigent, and based on that finding, the court cost in this case of $387 will be waived. That just simply means you will not be required to pay it because the court has found that you're indigent, and so pursuant to Article 42.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, the court costs will be waived.
okay.
Now, Mr. Curl, do you understand the state's offer?
Yeah,
Do you think that the state's offer and the court's finding is fair and just?
yeah,
And do you accept it?
yeah,
Okay, Mr. Curl, the court will follow the plea bargain agreement with the findings that you're indigent in this case. Mr. Curl, we will move to your next case. And the next case that we have is cause number 334102. And
I
Mr.
thought they were congruent. I thought
They are. He just has to go over the paperwork for both.
oh,
Okay, so now, Mr. Curl, this is cause number 334102. And in this case, Mr. Curl, I have before me an information that alleges, well, first of all, Mr. Jackson, you waiving a record in this case as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
yeah,
And Mr. Curl, in this case, I also have an information, and this information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. And this information alleges that on or about October 24th of 2022, while you're in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespassing. Mr. Curl, do you understand what you've been charged with?
yeah,
And to this charge, Mr. Curl, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? Mr. Curl, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yeah,
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
yeah,
Okay, Mr. Curl, I also have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor admonishments. And Mr. Curl, I'm gonna show you this document on the monitor. Mr. Curl, do you recognize State's Exhibit 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment?
yeah,
On page 2 of this same document, Mr. Curl, there are a set of initials CC that are on a line next to a box that says check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
yeah,
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Curl, did you sign this document?
yeah,
And on the next document, Mr. Curl, this next document is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document?
yeah,
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
That's a big drive. You got to say, I need to drive, make a living and call my kids.
Mr. Roebuck, could you put your mic on mute?
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
All right, thank you.
My bad.
All right, now, Mr. Curl, the first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
yeah,
And Mr. Curl, did you sign a document on paper out there that is titled discovery certification?
yeah,
Now, Mr. Curl, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Jackson, go over these documents with you?
yeah,
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
yeah,
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
yeah,
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor. State offer stage 1.
Any objections, Mr. Jackson?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson, Stacy's exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Jackson, you've advised and counseled Mr. Curl in this case as well. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Curl, your attorney, Mr. Jackson, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yeah, yeah,
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
yes, cool.
What did
Yes,
you say?
sir. You already good. Yes, that's what it's honest.
Mr. Curl, let me ask this question again. Your attorney, Mr. Jackson, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yeah,
Everybody camera froze for a minute. Mr. Curl, Mr. Jackson has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
sure, yeah,
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
yes,
Okay, Mr. Curl, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers are free and voluntary given, and I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement in this case?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, in this case, Your Honor, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 90 days, Your Honor. We're asking that the defendant be given credit for any and all time to which he's entitled by law. And lastly, Your Honor, this case is to run concurrent with companion case number 333662.
Okay, Mr. Curl, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for any time that you're entitled to get by law. The court cost in this case is $332, but the court has previously found you indigent in the companion case, so the court will also be finding you indigent in this case. And based on that finding of indigency, the court cost of $332 will be waived. This case will run concurrent with cause number 333662. Mr. Curl, do you understand the state's offer
yeah,
and the court's findings?
yeah,
And do you think it's fair and just?
yeah,
Mr. Curl, I will follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Curl, this will conclude your cases. Please knock on the door and